Hello, math students. Welcome back to Module 10, Percent and Proportional Relationships. The name of this lesson is Mark Up and Mark Down Problems, and this is Lesson 7. Our goal for today we will practice mark up and mark down problems. The question that I want you to think about during this video is, how does a markup change the original price? All right, so again, underlining the title, Mark Up and Mark Down Problems, things to know. A markup is the amount of increase in price. So markup means that there is an increase in price. A markdown is the amount of decrease in price. A markdown is the amount of decrease in price. And the original price is the starting price, also called cost or wholesale price. So original price is the amount that you begin with, your starting price. Sometimes it's called a cost, or sometimes it's called the wholesale price, depending on what the scenario is that's using it. The selling price is the original price plus the markup or minus the markdown. So the selling price is the original price plus a markup or minus a markdown. Okay, depending on what you're doing. If you're marking it up, you're adding. If you're subtracting, or if you're marking it down, you're subtracting. So a markup or markdown rate is the amount used to change the price. So the markup or markdown rate is the amount used to change the price. So you're either making the price bigger or you're making the price smaller. And some things that I like to use to help us is some abbreviations. So for the markup, what I like to call it is, if it's a markup price, which usually gives you the dollar amount, then we call it the MUP. If it's the markdown price, then we would call it an MDP, or you know what else I like to call it is just discount price, because discount means the same thing as markdown. So I typically just use DP, so I'm going to cross that other one out because I don't ever use it. I just use DP for discount. Okay, the original price I just call OP, and the selling price I call SP. Okay, trying to keep those from getting too confusing. So then if it's a markup or a markdown rate, the way that I write these is, instead of calling it an MUP because it's a markup price, this one would be an MUR for rate, so markup rate, or the other one would be a discount rate, so markdown rate, discount rate, so it's a DR for rate. R is for rate, so that's how I try to do it. Now, the reason why I'm giving you these little abbreviations is because they come in really handy when you're trying to organize your information. So let's give it a try. A brand of sneakers costs $29 to make. Then a Foot Locker buys them for that cost. So remember how we talked about sometimes it's called the cost. So the cost is $29. Foot Locker puts a sales price as $69. What is the markup rate? What is the markup amount? Okay, so we need to get some things organized and figured out. So we know that the original price, or the cost of the shoes, was $29. So we're going to put that right here. Okay. Then we know that Foot Locker buys them for this cost and then puts a sales price of $69. So the sales price is $69. And then it says, what is the markup rate and what is the markup amount? So actually what we're going to put right here is the markup price, because we've got to figure out what that is. And the only way that you can figure out what that is that you have to take the original price times the markup rate, which equals the markup price. Okay? Now, I want to say that again. The markup price times the markup rate equals the markup price. That's how you find the markup price. Then once you have the markup price, you add it on to the original to get the sales price. Okay? So the way that we've got to figure this out is we've got to determine what was the rate that the original price was increased by? Okay, so we learned earlier that you take the old and the new. Do you remember that? That's a couple lessons ago. So the old amount, so let's write that down because we have to remember from previous videos. The old amount was 29. The new amount is 69. And so what we're supposed to do is we're finding the difference between these two. Remember, this should be coming back to you because we just learned it 2 lessons ago. So 69 minus 29 gives us, that's a 9, sorry, 0 and 4. So we get 40, right? That's the difference between the two. So then you take the difference and you divide it by the old, which is here, and that's going to give us a rate. Yeah? Okay, so not so bad. So 40 divided by 29, I have to do it off to the side. If we did 29 twice, that would be 18. That would be 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so that's too much. So it has to go in there 29 times. All right. So we're subtracting. That's 1. That's 1. And because we're doing a percent, let's go ahead and do a 0. So we bring that down, and if we look at it, it might be 5. So if I put 5 there, that's 45. Regroup the 4. So nope, that's way too much. So maybe 4. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 more is 11. Dang it, that's too much too, and I don't have an eraser, so I'm just going to write right on top of it. So here's 3. 3 times 9 is 27, so we're making that a 27. I apologize for not having an eraser. Regroup the 2, so 3 times 2 is 6. 7, 8, so this is an 8. Okay, so now we have 110 minus 87. Good, you can't see it. Now you can because I made those errors. Sorry about that. So this would become a 0. This would become a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. Then I have to regroup again. That becomes 0. That becomes a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. We'll do one more 0. See if we can get anywhere with this. 29 goes into 230. Let's see. We're going to have to say 8. That's 72. So 8 times 2 is 16 plus 7. Ooh! Just 2 over, so 8 won't work. Dang it. So let's try 7. 7 times 9 is 63. Regroup the 6. 7 times 2 is 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's pretty close. Yeah. So now that becomes a 2. That becomes that. And it looks like this is going to go on forever, doesn't it? Okay. So that was 270. Okay, so now try the 8. I think the 8 would have worked. Okay, so 8, that's 2. With the 7, that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So it's going to keep going. So that would be 8, and that would be 3. And yeah, we're going to go on forever. Oh, we could have done 9 then, so that's a 9. Does that give us enough to figure out the percent, however? Okay, it does, because if we multiply this by 100, we now know through all my gross pen errors that we have 137.9 something, and it keeps going. So what is the markup? The markup, and it truly is, if you look at it, if you started out with 29 and you were all the way up to 69, your markup is about 137, or we could round to the nearest whole percent, about 138%, right? 138%. So let's actually put the rate right here, and let's see what happens with it. Okay, so it was 29 times 138% would give us the markup price. So we're going to take this over 100, 138 over 100 times 29 over 1. Gross is my answer. So 138 times 29 gives me 72. So that's 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. That's 3. So that's 12. That's 16. That's 7. And that's 2. And you can't see it because of the hole. So 2, 10. 7 plus 2 is 9. 10. and that's 4, right? So we have that, 4,002 divided by 100. So 4,002 divided by 100 is, here's a 4. That would be 400. And then I bring down my 2, which it can't go, so that's 40. Go to decimal. You still can't go. Bring another. And now we have 2. So what that tells us is the markup price is $40.02. So look, you guys, this so totally works. Check it out. Look. This is the markup price. So add 40 and 2 pennies to 29, and what do you get? 69.2. All right, so yeah, that's really awesome. The only thing that we would say is that it might not be 138. What should we go ahead and leave it as? 137. So go back up here. What is your markup rate? Your markup rate, because it totally worked, was 137%, right? And then your markup amount would be $40, about $40, because we just did the math. Okay? So wow, that was kind of crazy. I'm sorry for my gross pens. I should probably use pencil because I definitely have been known to choose the wrong amounts and have to erase, and then we don't have them. But the concept is there, yes? And the concept to remember is this cool strategy right here. You take the old amount, the new amount, find the difference between the two, which happens to be right there, yeah? Then you divide the difference by the original, and we did that, and we got the percent. And the percent is 1.379, but we need to multiply that by 100, so it's really 1.37%. It could probably even be 37 and a half or 37 and a little bit more than that, because we found out when we rounded it to 138, it was 2 cents off. Right? 2 cents off, which is not bad at all. So we know it's greater than 137, but less than 138. So there's got to be some point something there. So that's pretty awesome. It worked. Totally worked. I'm so excited about that. All right? Okay, so we're going to practice some more of these in class tomorrow, but let's go back to our goal. Our goal for today is, today we will practice markup and markdown problems. Markdowns, we didn't actually practice one, but you will in class. It would just mean where you subtract it off instead of add it on. What does the markup change, or excuse me, how does the markup change the original price? Well, the way that it changes the original price is it increases it. It makes it more. So markup makes the price more. A markdown makes the price less. All right, kiddos? So we're starting to bring things together. Everything that we've been learning so far is building upon each other. So hopefully you're remembering everything. And if you're not, go back and look at your notes because that will help you.